Great morning, business owners and managers, and welcome to another awesome episode of CX in the Morning, Customer Experience in the Morning. I am your host, Wes Walters, and on every single CX in the Morning, I bless you with customer service tips, customer experience tricks, and I leave you with gems. And by gems, I mean actionable takeaways that you can implement at the speed of now. Immediately after this broadcast, you will be able to share what you've learned with your team, making your team and your business better. You will learn the importance of implementing an awesome customer experience and how that affects the bottom line. And that by itself is pretty awesome. That's why this is awesome TV. What do you expect from awesome TV? Happy Friday. How was everyone's week? How was everyone's week? And I'm not talking about how you felt, how you feel. I'm talking about the metrics. What does the metrics say? What does the metrics say that your week was? What does the metrics say? Does the metrics say that you had a great week based on the numbers? Or does the metrics say, even though you feel like this, the metrics say something else? Because a lot of times the way we feel is really not the way things are. If you look at the data really tells the truth. That's why I like mathematics. Mathematics doesn't lie. It always tells the truth, right? All right, so as you can see, this episode is entitled How to Create the Wow Factor, because ever so often I get people in my inbox saying, Wes, I always hear you talking about wowing the customers, wowing the customers. How do you wow the customers, Wes? How do you create that wow factor? Well, you say it and I play it, right? So you've asked for it, and kind of boiled the creating the wow factor down into three simple tools or three simple tenets of the wow factors. So the first, actually, there's going to be there. So the first of how to wow and how to create that wow factor, as simple as this may sound, is you have to be better than average. Drum roll, please. You have to be better than average, consistently better than average, consistently better than average. So it's not just okay to be better than average, but you have to be better than average consistently. Now here it is, newsflash. Average is C+. Average is C+. If you're a parent watching this and you are okay with your kids bringing home, well, not bringing home because they go to school at home now, right? So if you're fine with your kids turning in C+ work to you, then raise your hand. If that's what the way you feel, raise your hand. So obviously none of you raised your hands because C is average, and who wants to live that boring life, right? Who wants to be average? So if you as a business owner cannot be above average, then you should just close your doors. I know it sounds harsh, but running a business is a professional sport. And if you cannot play at a world-class level with the professionals, then you should close your doors. I truly believe that. I know that hurts. I know that stings, but that's where we are. We are not here for hobbies. If you cannot be above average, if you cannot be above C+, then really you have no place in business. There is no room for you because everyone in this industry, your industry, is operating from a world-class level. And if you cannot be average, you cannot do C+, then you really shouldn't be in business. Or you should do some internal evaluation and ask yourself, is this a hobby or is this something that I really want to do? Great morning, Miss Bernadette and Mr. Paul. You bring true value. Thank you, sir. You are so kind. We're talking about the wow factor. And, someone DM'd me and said, hey, Wes, I hear you always talking about the wow factor. Like, how do you create the wow factor? So we're talking about the three tenets of the wow factor. The first is being better than average. So you guys just coming in, I asked how many of you as parents would be okay with if your kids brought home C plus. C is average, C plus work, and no one said yes, they would be fine with that. So as a business owner, you have to be better than average, comma, consistently. And if you cannot be better than average consistently, then you should definitely consider whether you should be in business. I think you should close your doors. I think you should, because your customers demand and deserve world-class service. So if you cannot deliver world-class service, then just hang it up. Just let everybody know this is a hobby. I'm doing it for love. And you can volunteer at the school picnics, and you can do free stuff at where at the church. But it should not be a business if you cannot do it at a world-class level, if you cannot be above average consistently. And it's okay, no shade. This is not a show to belittle you. No, if you cannot be above average consistently, you should not be in business. No half stepping, like Miss Bernadette says, like no half stepping. Either you're gonna be all in or you're gonna be all out. There's no gray area here. There is no shades of gray where you can be like, I want to do it. No, it's either you black or you white. Either you hot or you cold. Either you wet or you dry. There is no moist area. No moist energy. Either you wet or you dry. There is no moist. I just want to be moist. No, you can't be moist. You got to choose. Either you're going to be wet or you're going to be dry. Can't be moist. So if you cannot be above C plus, if you cannot be above average consistently, then you should close your doors, because that's the first tenet in creating the wow factor. I heard one of my friends he said, a lot of you want what it looks like, but you don't want what it takes to be that. Woo. He said, Wes, a lot of you business owners, he was talking he was giving a speech as keynote, said a lot of these business owners, they want what it look like. They like what they see on Instagram. They like what they see on Facebook and on it looks good. Look at me, entrepreneur. Woo, 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 woo. They want that. But they don't want what it takes to get that. What's behind, like Miss Bernadette, catering service. They like your videos where you're, hey, another happy customer, but they don't want getting up 3 o'clock in the morning to prep that food. They don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want the breaking down every day, and the preparation the next morning for the food. They don't want that. They don't want getting things in place the night before. They don't want that. They think it's just, hey, showing up and individuals just loving the food and it's okay. But they don't understand the work that goes into it. So a lot of business owners, they want what it looks like, but they don't want what it takes to get there. So the first tenet in regards to creating a wow factor is being able to be better than average consistently. The second is what I found over the years is being able to say sorry even if you or your team didn't commit the error. And you're like, why in the world would I do that? I'm not taking ownership for something I didn't do. If that's your response and you're in the service-based industry, again, here's an opportunity for you to do some internal searching and ask yourself if this is really what you want to do, if this is where you really want to be. It's almost like if your friend lost his or her mother, your response isn't, well, I didn't kill his mother. Why should I say I'm sorry? But you say you're sorry. That's the same position you are as a business. If a customer comes in and they say, man, I lost my luggage at the airport, and this is all that I have for the next 3 days until they find my luggage. Your response should be, hey, I'm sorry that you lost your luggage. Showing some, not sympathy, but empathy, empathizing with them, letting them know that, hey, that's simple. Hey, I'm sorry. Even if you didn't commit the offense, yes, it wasn't your plane. They didn't fly in on your airline. But saying, I'm sorry, even if you didn't commit the offense. Again, these are 6mm shifts that gets you into creating a wow factor. That person who doesn't have any clothes, who doesn't have any more belongings, they're going to remember that, like, man, the person at the front desk was real empathetic. I felt like they cared. Being empathetic and saying, I'm sorry, even if you didn't commit the act or the error. So it's like almost like you got to stop looking at business as business and look at it as personal. Business is personal. If your friend lost their mother, you would not say, man, I didn't kill his mother, so there's nothing for me to say I'm sorry for. But you would say, oh, man, I'm so sorry for your loss. What can I do? That's the same approach you should have for your customers. Same approach. Same approach. Number 3 on the list, giving your employees the power to say yes. Giving your employees the power to say yes. Now, if you've been watching this long enough, I talk about creating what's called a concession bag. Now, a concession bag this is from the Ritz, the culture of the Ritz, where each employee is given daily. Of course, you don't have the budget of a Ritz, but you should come up with your own number, even if it's starting with $5. So each employee at the Ritz is given $200, a $200 window to use daily to make the customer happy. So if you work at the Ritz-Carlton, each employee is allowed $200 a day. If there's a problem, if the customer needs something rectified and it's less than $200, the employee doesn't need to get approval to make it happen. They purchase it, they go out and make it happen, they pay for it, it's done. So you as a business owner should come up with your own concession bag where, let's just say, start with $5. If something is less than $5 that needs to be returned or needs to be credited, you don't have to call for a manager. Your employees should know that, hey, if it's under $5, it costs $1.99. Hey, here it is. Please come back and see us. You should create that. Again, start small, even if it's $5. I'm not saying it should be $200 a day. Give your employees that $5 a day. Say, hey, if anything is less than $5, and then you need to make it right, you don't have to call me from the back office. You don't have to call me myself if I'm not here. You have the authority to make that happen. What does that do for your employees? It lets them know that, hey, you trust them to be adults, to make decisions without your approval. And the more approval that they get, the more responsibility that they get. Once they prove that they can handle that $5, what do? You give them $10. What does that do for the loyalty for the employees at your business? Oh, Mr. Walters is giving more responsibility. That means he trusts me. He trusts me. So what do people do when someone trusts them? They stay more loyal. It's a circle. More responsibility, more trust, more loyal. More responsibility, more loyal, more trust. Let me know if that makes sense. Number 3 on the list of things, actually number 4, this is number 4 of what you need to do, the tenets of creating a wow factor, I wanted to give a story about the Ritz. So here's a story about the Ritz. So the story about the Ritz is there was a husband and wife that checked into a hotel, a Ritz-Carlton in Singapore, and the child had really rare allergies where there was only a specific type of egg that the child could eat and a specific type of milk that the child could drink. So the parents brought their own eggs and they brought their own milk. Of course, in the commute between wherever they were coming from to Singapore, the milk had soured and the eggs were destroyed. In the commute, the eggs got crushed. Yeah, trying to bring eggs on a plane, chances are they're going to be crushed. So, of course, the parents were devastated because they know their child and their child will not have any breakfast while they were staying in Singapore. So the executive chef at the Ritz heard about the story and remembered that there was a store in Bali that served those special eggs, that had those special eggs. So the Ritz is in Singapore. The executive chef knew that there was because he was from Bali, remember that there was a store in Bali that had those special eggs and that milk. He had his mother-in-law fly from Bali to Singapore, 6-hour flight. And this time she protected the eggs. She was very cautious with the eggs, just so that that child could have eggs on his stay at the Ritz in Singapore. A 6-hour flight to bring eggs. Now, and without approval, by the way, the executive chef didn't say, hey, boss, can I get approval? No, proactive, heard about it, jumped into action, called his mother-in-law and made it happen so that this child could have eggs for this stay while they're staying at the Ritz. Hey, good morning, Jamie Lee. How you doing? We're talking about what it takes to create that wow factor for the customers or clients. So this is the perfect example where, again, the executive chef didn't need approval. He saw there was a problem and he went ahead trying to rectify the problem so that this child would not have breakfast while they were staying at the Ritz. But giving your employees the power to say yes and to do things like that without your approval. One of the 3 tenets for creating that wow factor. And I told you there were 3, but there's a bonus. Number 4, all of this is not possible. None of these are possible unless you have a positive culture. Unless you have a positive culture where employees feel happy to come to work. Unless you have a positive culture where employees feel safe to say, hey, this is what I think we should do to improve the business. Unless you have a culture where employees feel safe that, hey, even if it's safe to mess up, it's okay to mess up. That each mess up does not equate to me being terminated or fired or being written up. Unless you have that culture where employees are like, okay, this is fertile ground and it's safe, then good luck on your employees going above and beyond and being above average. If your employees do not feel safe, if they do not feel that it's a culture where their values and their opinions are valued, they are not going to go out and serve your customers at a world-class level. So you have to re-engineer this process. Literally start with number 4. The foundation should be creating a company culture where employees feel happy and safe. Where it's the season is slow and you're not just laying people off, just like, hey, what does that say when you lay other employees off? What are the employees that remain? How do they feel? How do they feel? The employees that made the quote unquote made the cut. I tell you this, for me, every time there was a layoff, and I quote unquote made the cut, I was filling out applications. So I was like, nah. Yeah, I made this cut. I might not make the next cut. No. I want to let you know from an employee, because I don't want you to think that I always was teaching customer service. No, I was in the trenches for many years, and I know what it feels to be an employee. Whenever there was a cut or a downsizing, and I made the cut, immediately I was filling out applications somewhere else, because I wasn't going to let it. I wasn't going to lay. I'm a proactive person. I don't lay down and wait for death to come. I made the first cut. I'm being proactive. I'm like, okay, I might not be so lucky. Maybe I need to start looking for another job before this second cut comes along. And I don't make the second cut. So what message are you sending to your employees where you're like, hey, this is a safe environment, but we got to let you go? So these are the four tenets of creating that wow factor that everyone is all like, Wes, what is the wow factor? If you don't have these three and the bonus number 4 in place, creating that wow factor is going to be very, very hard. And having employees to execute on that wow factor is going to even be more, it's going to be harder. It's going to be impossible. So if you're just tuning in, you're going to probably watch the replay, but let me run them back real quick. The first in creating a wow factor is being better than average consistently. Being better than average consistently. Number 2 is owning a problem that you didn't create, saying sorry even if it's a problem that you didn't create. Customer shows up with their bags missing. I'm so sorry that you're missing your bag. Yes, it wasn't your flight. I get it. But showing some empathy are those 6mm shifts that the customers remember that add to the wow factor. Number 3, giving your employees the power to say yes so that they don't need you to say no. And number 4, which I feel is the foundation, the most important, is creating a company culture where employees feel rewarded, where they feel safe, where they feel valued. If this is not the case, none of the above will happen. Let me say that again. If you do not have a company culture where employees feel safe, valued, respected, employees are not going to serve your customers at a world-class level. They're just not. They're just going to do just enough to get paid and to keep their job. Not going to do more, not going to do less. They're going to find out, okay, what do I need to do to get fired? It's here. What do I need to do to keep my job? It's here. So they're going to operate in between right here. On the other side of what it takes to get hired is what it takes to be promoted. They're not going to do that. They're not going to go outside of that line. What it takes to get fired is on this side. They're going to stay between here and here. If you have employees that are operating in that realm, they're taking up space. And it's not the employee's fault. It's your fault as a business owner or manager. It's your fault. They came and met the company's culture the way it was. Now, are they bad? Are there bad apples? Are there people that are leeches? Of course. Yes, there are some leeches. I get it. But for the most part, most individuals come to a situation in good faith. And if they're needed or greeted with a toxic environment, they're not going to go above and beyond. Unless you hire Martin Luther King or something. All right, so those are the 4 tenets that are the foundation of creating that wow factor. And if you need help creating or fabricating your wow factor, if you need help creating your wow factor, all you have to do is go to workwithwes.com, and someone from my team will definitely reach out to you. You will share with us what your goals are, and we will share with you how we do what we do, and how we can help you achieve those goals in the quickest time possible. So definitely go to workwithwes.com. We'll definitely provide you with a free customer experience audit, and we will show you how to create that wow factor and have it on automation. Have it on autopilot, so it's not something that you're constantly doing. We're going to insert it into the company culture where it's automatic. It's as simple as turning on the light switch in the morning. All right. So if you guys have any questions, definitely reach out. Go to workwithwes.com, and you guys have a safe weekend. Be safe whatever part of the country you is. It's winter in the morning here in Atlanta. At night it's winter. In the morning now it's freezing, and at 12 o'clock it's going to be summer. So I'm not sure what part of the country you're in, but we're going through spring, summer, winter-ish right now. Right now, it's cold. Last night was freezing. It's freezing right now. I have my heater on at the bottom. But 12 o'clock, it's going to be summer. I wish I was making this stuff up, but those who are in Georgia understand, right? But you guys have a safe weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday. Peace.